Hi, good morning, everyone. Let's get started with our next topic, which is SAP client definition. What is an SAP client? SAP client actually is a self contained unit in an SAP system with its own separate master records and its own set of tables. Okay, so it's basically a logical subdivision of the data stored in an SAP database. Okay, so let's see here. You can see that this is your client, which has its own master data. That is, it has its own user authorization records. It has its own set of security. Then the customization, that is client dependent customizing data. That is the data which is specific to this client only. Okay, so and the third main thing in this particular client concept is the application, so which has the transaction data, the master data. So these are the three main building blocks of a client. So first is user master. Each client will have its own user master. It will have its own client dependent customizing data. It will have its own transaction data and master data. Okay, client is an anonymous unit in an R3 or an SAP system with regard to commercial law, organization, and data. Okay, so what does an R3 or an SAP database contain? So this is a picture of how the SAP system looks like. Here you have an SAP system which has this as the database, and this database has multiple clients. Okay, so you have at the bottom, you have global setting, which applies to all the clients. On top of that, you have repository objects. On top of that, you have customizing object. Okay, and on top of customizing object, you have clients, which as you can go back and see that each client will have its own set of client dependent customizing data as well. Okay, so this is are the key terms or key concept of client. And anytime we work or log in into the SAP system, we log into a particular client only. Okay, so we have seen that we can have multiple clients in an SAP system, and you can see these are the different roles of client you can have. Okay, for doing development work, you can have, say, development and customizing client. For functionality testing and verification of your configuration, you can have quality assurance client. For production activities and for your business data, you can have production clients. Okay, so these are the different client roles which is available. And you can give an analogy of client is something like, okay, here I have given an analogy for SAP system. If suppose it is a building, then SAP clients will be the floors in that building, and company codes, we can call them as the apartments on the floor. Okay, so you can see that analogy, that how the different building terms translate into the ABAP client terms. So just go through this clearly explains about the different components in an SAP client. Okay, so that is pretty much I wanted to cover in this particular topic. Thank you for joining and have a nice day. Bye bye.